But if we think about his last 4 international appearances with Mexico since the summer, they've all been friendlies. You got 0 goals, Herc. How in the world do we explain that?
This angers me so much that you would even ask. Like, I feel like every time we talk, look, don't do that face.
Don't you do it. Don't
you do that like, me? I mean, what do you expect from the guy? It's easier to score when you're on the field, right? Mm-hmm. It's easier to score when you have more minutes, correct? Well, why should we be surprised that Santi Gimenez has started 3 games for Jimmy Lozano and can't score as much? Where with Feyenoord, he's got better talent around him, and he's playing every 4 days, and he's got more opportunities to score. Of course it's going to happen. Say what you will about the defending in the Netherlands, okay? Just as bad as CONCACAF, so it should be no different, okay? He's playing, he's getting an opportunity, and he feels important. I've got my doubts about how he feels when he's in the Mexican national team. Like there's somebody always looking over, like he's always looking over his shoulder at somebody breathing down his neck. Whether it's whether it's Henry Martin or whether it's Raul Jimenez, both who you can't compare to Santi Gimenez today. And then tomorrow, guess who it'll be? It'll be Julian Quiñones come November. I've got my doubts of how they're managing Santi Gimenez on the national team level. Not at Feyenoord. They've made him the man, and it's been known. You're the man, do your thing here, and that's why the numbers are there.
Yeah. For me, it's confidence, Herc, and it's very much the eyeball test, right? He looks a different player with Mexico than he does when he's playing in club, and I would compare it to a driver who's got kind of white knuckle syndrome, right? He's holding onto that steering wheel, or a golfer who's really got a, producer Beto love this, a tight grip on the putter. Like sometimes you just got to loosen up a little bit. And I think that confidence, Herc, is not just down to the player, but to what you point out is kind of what's around him, and specifically the confidence given to him by the manager. Arne Slot has nonstop, even when he was bringing him off the bench, said the right things about Santiago Gimenez, kept him in check when maybe the hype train around him was getting out of control. I think it's a manager who has worked the player perfectly, played him like a violin, has him doing exactly what he wants, and that confidence is what leads to what we're seeing in terms of his goal scoring right now with club. My concern as a fan would be that he will turn into one of those players who is a club legend, but a national team dud. Now, I think Santiago Gimenez will grow out of that. Maybe, Herc, with the next club that he goes to. I don't know if you saw his socials this week. He was definitely seemingly hinting at his next stop. Do you think this is something that he will grow out of, or do you think there's a chance that this could be something that maybe hangs around Santiago Gimenez with the national team?
I would hate for that big club he's joining to be the Kings League, if that's what you're referring to.
Is that the big scoop? He's going to have a Kings League team now. Wow.
I don't know. All I'm saying is Santiago Gimenez has proven at his early age his worth. Well. You mentioned the coach. I will mention Robin van Persie. He's got people, and his father. I will mention Santiago Gimenez, Robin van Persie. He's got people in his camp, in his orbit, that are steering him in the right direction. When he goes and plays for Mexico, I don't care what you think Mexico is today. Honestly, a lot of that is masking over the cracks, papering over those cracks because of who they played against in Gold Cup or Germany's moment or a great game that was just Germany, and we forget about the window versus Australia and Uzbekistan. We forget about the problems of not developing players. We forget the problems of leaving Santiago Gimenez out of the World Cup. We forget about all these different things, and everything is great in the world, and now the problem is Santiago Gimenez. You have a player who is young, who is hungry, and is proving to do the right things at the greatest of levels, whether you think Eredivisie is good or not, Europa League good or not, whatever the case may be, at a higher level, proving his worth. And here, at this level, the CONCACAF level, we put every excuse in the book of why he's not performing or why he can't perform. And I don't understand it.
Yeah. You talk about the talent around him being better with Feyenoord. Maybe that's up for debate. What is not up for debate is the chemistry that he has with that talent. And that probably takes us back to your original point, which is more minutes for Santi with the Mexican national team. And then eventually we're going to see his best level.
He doesn't do well for Feyenoord. He's got another game in 4 days. You don't do well for the Mexican national team, you got to wait 2 months.
And you got Futbol Picante hammering you for those 2 months, nonstop.